We all want to be happier, but how do we get there? First, we start by realizing happiness is not a destination. Being happy consists of micro action steps every single day. I'm your host, Brittany King, and I'm here to guide you along the way. Hello, my beautiful friend, and welcome back to the Positively Real podcast. How are we doing, friend? Man, how has your year been so far? January felt like the longest month, but also the shortest month. It's so wild how time works. I am just getting back from a trip to Mexico. We took a little parents' trip, and it was so much fun. It is the most ironic thing in the world that when you become a parent and you look forward to time with your partner and time away from your kids and just not being needed to be needed for a little bit, how you spend the majority of your time talking about your kids when you're away from them. It is hilarious. I think I did the same thing when we would go out of town and leave our dog. So I think it's just what happens. And that's where I think the phrase comes from, distance makes the heart grow fonder, because man, the excitement to get home was next level. By the last day of our trip, I got homesick. I missed my kids. I just missed my house. I missed everything. So I couldn't wait to be home. And I was like, nothing annoyed me because I just knew the end destination was just so sweet. And it's just that feeling in my nervous system of safety when I just get home. Like I can just feel my whole body melt and relax. And there's really no better feeling. I love traveling. I love trips. I love adventures. But truly, there's no better feeling than just coming home. You just feel it in your body. It's so nice. So, today's episode is something that I have been thinking a lot about, of just all of the unknowns that we face in our life. There's a lot going on in our world, and there has been pretty much since the dawn of time. Like, let's be real. If there's anything that's certain, it's how uncertain life is and how much unknown we experience on a daily basis. And I wanted to record an episode for you about trusting yourself in the great unknown. And this is really important because whether it's motherhood, your career, personal growth, relationships, we often have this strange expectation and this pressure to have it all figured out before we move through the unknown. Now, if we had it all figured out, then it wouldn't be unknown. And the truth is, we can't have things figured out because it's never going to go the way that we think that it should. And it always goes the way that it's supposed to. So it really makes me think, if motherhood has taught me anything, it has really taught me how to embrace the unknown. As a new mom, I will say that, my daughter's almost 3, but it's like you're always a new mom in whatever phase that you enter. So I'm entering the era, the three-nager stage. And I also have a 6-month-old, and I also have never had 2 kids before. So all of this is all new and it's all unknown, right? So there are sleepless nights, there are meltdowns and tantrums, and managing sibling dynamic, and then all of these moments filled with self-doubt. It's such an amazing experience. I think becoming a mom has been the ultimate form of personal growth and development on a spiritual level, and I'm so grateful for it because I have been, as I'm learning to raise a child, simultaneously healing and raising my inner child, giving myself the things that I needed when I was a little girl. And it's really quite remarkable. Now, what I have come up against a lot in my early days of motherhood is perfectionism. I did not realize how invasive perfectionism was throughout motherhood. And it's interesting because I've worked with a lot of moms before I became a mom, and we've always worked on perfectionism. And I think perfectionism comes very natural to us high achievers. Like we try to make things perfect because if we can make things perfect, then it'll prove that we're valuable and worthy. And becoming a mom, it was the same thing. Like having a perfect plan, having the perfect thing to say, showing up perfectly, having, the home cooked meals and the clean, organized house and all of the activities and doing it all. And it's just impossible and it is exhausting. And something that I've realized in my 3 years of being a mom is that the wisdom that we have is not from knowing how to do everything in advance. It's not from reading the books or watching the courses. It really comes from showing up and learning as we go. I read a book called The Parenting Map while Ellie was a baby. And it's just funny, like reading that book and now like applying it and understanding what it was actually teaching. I thought reading it ahead of time was going to help mitigate the tantrums and the meltdowns and me getting triggered, and absolutely not. I would say the only way that I'm able to really learn is by going through the experience, going through the gauntlet, getting triggered by things that are seemingly so innocent and not a big deal and blowing up in a disproportionate way. That is where my wisdom is coming from. And I have blocked it from trying to be perfect all of the time and feeling inadequate and like I'm coming up short because it's impossible to be perfect. It's impossible to meet this standard that our society has portrayed as what the perfect modern day mom is like. And, this has really shined a light into the parallels of growth and coaching that I do with my clients. This applies beyond motherhood, seeking certainty in new jobs, seeking certainty and safety in new relationships, or just major life transitions. And it makes me think about my clients all the time because there isn't a person that I haven't worked with that isn't facing something unknown. One client comes to mind, and she was in a relationship, and it was a relationship that was really going nowhere, and she knew it, but it was so comfortable and it was so safe and it was so certain that she stayed in it longer than I think she would have if it was certain that she would come out on the other side stronger and better. But then it got to a point, this is how it works. You either make the decision yourself or the universe makes it for you. And in this circumstance, the universe made the decision for her. And the relationship ended very abruptly. It really felt like the rug was pulled out from underneath her. And it was really jarring and a little and really scary because something that felt so certain was now something that was so uncertain. Now, fast forward a year later, she is thriving. She is the healthiest she's ever been. She looks radiant and glowing. She is in a new relationship. She's dating. She's dating people that are more aligned with the values that she has and the interests that she has. She actually enjoys her alone time. Before, she was so afraid of being alone because she was so used to being with someone for 7+ years that the thought of being alone was terrifying, and it was because it was unknown. And so learning how to embrace the unknown, learning how to be open to the messiness, to the fear, the uncertainty, that murkiness that comes with not having a clear picture of how everything's going to work out, learning how to embrace all of that really helped strengthen her ability to trust that everything was going to work out and she was going to figure it out. And so seeing her on the other side of that big unknown, that big change is so inspiring because what she realized is that growth is not about perfection. It's not about having this perfect laid out plan, right? Like after going through a breakup, after a relationship ends, you follow these steps and you'll get to the other side. People will tell you that. They'll sell you ideas that have worked for them, but truly it's about staying open to the process and trusting yourself enough to know that you're going to figure it out and that you're going to be okay on the other side. And it's seriously the most beautiful thing to really lean in and trust yourself, whether that is in relationships, a new job, but specifically for me in motherhood. Anytime I'm doubting myself or I'm unsure, or I want to go to the Googles, I pause and I say, let's go inward. I say to myself, if I knew how to figure this out, what would be the next step? And I just kind of listen for the answer. And of course, doubt's going to come up because when doubt shows up, it means that you are evolving, that you are growing. Of course, doubt is going to show up because if you're doing things that you've never experienced before, you're supposed to doubt yourself. The key is learning what to do with that doubt. The key is not letting that doubt overwhelm you to the point where you don't move forward, the point where you don't take action. Self doubt is not the problem. We need to be able to feel the self doubt, be open to the self doubt, and take action and move forward through the uncertainty regardless, because we have such a negative view of when things are unknown, but the unknown is where the possibility lies. And I know for me this year, I'm embracing the unknown. And I know that's just like such a like fluffy statement, but what that means is anything that is uncertain to me, anything that's not clear to me, that's like a little bit hazy, instead of not doing it, I'm staying open and trusting myself and asking myself how I want to move through it. I might not have all the answers, and I'm not supposed to. What I'm supposed to do is take a step, fail, learn from it, and then take another step from what I learn. You can only do this if you have compassion and curiosity for yourself. If you judge yourself through this, you're not going to learn and you're just going to stop. You're going to stall right there because judgment leads to shame, and shame, we cannot grow. We cannot move forward. We get stuck in this cycle. And when you get stuck in that cycle, it pulls you further away from where you want to go and who you want to be in this world. So, what I want to offer you is a guided exercise to help you really anchor into this self trust. Now, self trust to me is one of the highest forms of self love. Why is that? Because if you can have self trust and know that things are going to work out, even if it takes 100 times, even if it takes it being really messy, even if that means you're going to fall on your face, if you can trust yourself that it will work out, that is a form of self love because that means you're not going to beat yourself up when things don't go your way. You're not going to judge yourself when you make a mistake. You're not going to not try again because you messed up. You're going to love yourself through it no matter what. And I know that feels really fluffy, but it's not. It's concrete. Compassion is the way through the unknown. Holding yourself through the unknown, telling yourself it's going to be okay, that it's okay if you make mistakes, that is the highest expression of self trust right there. So, for this guided exercise, you don't need anything except a quiet space where you can close your eyes for a few moments. So, if you are driving, come back to this exercise. If you're doing housework around the house, pause what you're doing and take a few moments for yourself. Okay. So, let's get comfortable. Okay. As long as you're not driving, come back to this if you are. But if you are in a safe space, I invite for you to close your eyes and take a deep inhale through your nose and then a long, slow exhale through your mouth. Let's do that a couple more times. So I want you to take an inhale and then slowly extend your exhale through your mouth, almost like you're pushing air out of a straw. Let's do that again 3 more times. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Last one. Inhale and then exhale. Continue to breathe in this pattern, this circular breath, just in through the nose, out through the mouth, back in through the nose. And let yourself settle into your body, just feeling the weight of the chair or the floor beneath you. Continuing to take these long inhales and full exhales, allowing each exhale to release any tension or self doubt in your body. If your mind starts to wander, that's totally normal. Just continuing to use your breath as your anchor. I want you to think back to a moment in your life when you didn't know how things would turn out, but you figured it out anyway? Maybe it was a challenge at work, becoming a parent, moving to a new city or a new place, or navigating an unexpected life challenge. Notice how, even when you didn't have all the answers, how you were flexible, you adapted, you learned, and you moved forward. What strengths did you tap into? What did you learn about yourself? What important things did you learn along the way? Now place one hand over your heart and the other on your belly, taking a deep breath. Internally repeat, I trust myself to figure things out. I trust myself to figure things out. I am capable even when I don't have all the answers. I am capable even when I don't have all the answers. I have navigated uncertainty before and I can do it again. I have navigated uncertainty before and I can do it again. Feel the truth of these words settling into your body. Now set an intention. Ask yourself, what is one area of my life where I can trust myself more? What is one area of my life where I can trust myself more? What is one small step you can take today to move forward, even if you don't have everything figured out? Hold this intention in your mind as you slowly start to flicker your eyes open and return to this present moment. Did you feel that shift? Something that we need to spend more time doing is taking the time to collect the evidence that we can trust ourselves, that we can show up the way that we want to show up in our life. Because our brain is always going to go to the negative. It's going to go to all the times that the unknown has led to undesirable outcomes. But the truth is, you probably have a lot more instances where you navigated the unknown, trusting yourself, knowing it was going to all work out. You just need the space to collect that evidence because that's what our brain is constantly doing. We're seeking the evidence for what is true to us. So wherever you direct your brain, it's going to collect that evidence. And this is exactly what I do with my clients. This is what I help them do in the breathwork integration coaching is I help them rewire their brain so they can see all of the ways that they have overcame difficult challenges, situations, that all the ways that they have trusted themselves, all the ways that they are good enough. And it's a really powerful process. It's actually really simple. And it's as simple as this practice, but in a guided space. So make the time to do this. Trust me, it works. It is simple, but simple does not mean that it's easy. So what I hope that you take away from this episode is the absolute most important thing is trusting yourself, especially when things are uncertain or unknown or unfamiliar. Releasing perfectionism creates the space for real transformation. It's not supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be messy. Embrace the mess, my friend. We love a good messy middle. Listening to your inner wisdom rather than external expectations. We put so much weight on the external that we completely disregard the inner wisdom that lives within each and every one of us. And yes, that means you. So, 3 things you can take from this episode. Number 1, practice your presence. Shift your focus from controlling the outcome to just showing up fully in the moment, knowing that if you can show up fully in the moment, you will create the outcome that you desire. Reframe self doubt. Instead of thinking that you don't know enough, remind yourself, I am learning as I go. And lean into trust, my friend. Ask yourself, where in my life am I waiting for certainty instead of taking the next step? If you follow these 3 actionable steps, I promise you, you will create an outcome better than your wildest dreams. So, just a reminder, you don't need to have all the answers moving forward. You just need to trust that you will figure it out along the way. I would love to know what you think about this episode. If you have any reflections or experiences, share them with me. You can email me them. You can share them on social media. You can share this episode or even send me a voice note. I love to hear it all. I just love to hear it all. All right, my friend. If this resonates with you and you want to go a little bit deeper, I have a 6-week breathwork integration coaching series where we dive deep into this work. We use our breath. We start to rewire our thinking. We create new neural pathways with repetition and emotion and breathwork. It's incredibly powerful and transformational. And I am holding the space for you to make this to make this your year of transformation. It is the year of the snake, and the snake means shedding old layers, letting go of old stories, and really evolving into who you are meant to be in this world. And I would love to help guide you in that experience. All right, my friend, until next time, remember to love yourself, own your happiness, and let your light shine because you are so worthy of it. Until next time.